Hi guys, how are you going? It's Daniel Walsh from Your Property or Wealth, and today I want to talk to you on the whiteboard and show you exactly what usable equity is and also what is equity in general. So what I'm talking about here is how much equity do you actually have in your home and how much equity of that is usable to buy investment properties. What I see is a lot of people have equity in their property and they never use the equity that's available to them to expose them to assets that are going to grow in the future and build their wealth. So what we're talking about here is what is equity. First thing, equity is this. Let's say you have a house and you have a house worth $500,000. Now the loan is $300,000. So the difference between $500,000 and $300,000 is $200,000. That is your equity. That's the amount of equity you have in the property. But most people get this confused. You can't use all of that equity. So what is the usable portion of the equity is generally what we would normally do here is would only ever take that property back up to 80%. That means that you're always going to have a buffer of 20% in that property and we'll only be taking it back up to 80%. So here, 80% of $500,000 is $400,000. And what we do is $400,000 minus $300,000, which is the loan, which means that we have $100,000 in equity. And that's what we can use to buy investment properties. What we generally would do is we will have a split loan. So what we're seeing here is we've got $300,000 for the first one. We're going to refinance and get $100,000 in a split loan, and that is going to buy our investment properties. Now we're going out to buy our first investment property and we buy it for, let's say, $350,000. So $350K. Now what we need to do is obviously use that $100,000 to be able to buy the property. So we need to put down a deposit, stamp duty and legals. So let's say we use a 10% deposit. So we're using $35,000. So 35K. And what we're going to have is closing costs of roughly, let's say, $15,000. That's stamp duty and legals, $15,000. Now this will vary. The stamp duty and legals will vary depending on what state that you're buying in. But let's say that that is a total of $50,000, 50K. So we've got $50,000 there to buy that investment property. We've used that $50,000 from the split loan of the 100. So we can technically go buy this investment property and then go out there and also buy another investment property with the remaining $50,000. We now have two investment properties worth $350,000 each, and we've also got our own home worth $500,000. So what we have here is a total asset base of $1.2 million. What this means is when you have an asset base of $1.2 million and you can cash flow that asset base for the next 10, 15 and 20 years, means that you're going to significantly increase your wealth than if you just held a $500,000 property. Reason being is that's going to increase in cash flow over time, plus it's going to increase on the asset base. So let's say you get a 5% return, you could get a 5% return on $500,000 and that would be compounding. But what happens if we get a 5% return on these two investment properties plus the PPOR? Now we're getting a 5% return on 1.2 million. This is why we see a lot of people out there that have lazy equity in their property and they don't use it to their advantage. If you have equity like this, it's best off to be able to put this into assets that are going to grow over time and be able to help you create wealth so that you can retire a lot earlier. If you like my videos, please like, share and comment, and until next time guys, have a great day.